The silver ships came down from the sky like falling stars, but these stars brought only sorrow. They were huge, bigger than any building on Earth, and they moved without making a sound. People stopped what they were doing and looked up. Children pointed at the sky. Adults grabbed their families and ran. Commander Veltar stood on the bridge of the biggest ship. His skin was blue-gray like old metal, and his eyes were black as space. He had 6 fingers on each hand, and when he moved, his long coat made a soft whisking sound. He looked down at Earth through the clear wall of his ship and felt nothing. To him, humans were just another species to be sorted and used. "Sir, we have mapped all the big cities," said one of his officers. "The scanning is complete." "Begin the selection process," Veltar said. His voice was calm and cold. "Take the smart ones. The scientists, the doctors, the engineers. Leave the fighters and the angry ones behind. They will only cause trouble." Down in Seoul, Dr. Hyun-woo Kim was working late in his laboratory when the lights went out, and a strange blue glow filled the room. He ran to the window and saw the silver ships floating above the city like giant clouds. His heart started beating fast. "Sa-young," he called to his daughter. "Sa-young, come here quickly." Sa-young was only 12 years old, but she was already smarter than most adults. She built robots from old computer parts and could solve math, problems that made her teachers scratch their heads. She ran to her father, her school books still in her arms. "What are those things, Papa?" she asked, pressing her face against the window. Before Hyun-woo could answer, a bright beam of light shot down from the nearest ship. It wrapped around them like warm honey, and suddenly they could not move. The beam lifted them up into the air. So-young dropped her books, and they fell back down to Earth like dead birds. "Do not be afraid," said a voice inside their heads. It was Veltar speaking to all the humans being taken. "You have been chosen for a great honor. You will serve the Seferian Empire and know wonders beyond your small planet, not far away." Minho Park was trying to get home from his construction job. He was a big man with strong hands from years of building things. When he saw the beams of light taking people, he started running. His wife Yang-ji was at home, probably cooking dinner and waiting for him, but he was too late. When he got to his street, he saw Yang-ji floating in the air, caught in one of the blue beams. She was reaching out to him, her mouth open in a scream he could not hear. "Yang-ji," Minho shouted. He jumped up, trying to grab her feet, but there was some kind of invisible wall around the beam. His hands hit it and bounced back. It felt like hitting solid stone. "Let her go. Take me instead." A small flying machine came down from the ship. It looked like a metal bird with glowing red eyes. It scanned Minho with a red light, and then a cold voice spoke from it. "Subject shows high aggression levels. Marked for rejection. Subject will remain on planet. No." Minho hit the invisible wall again and again until his hands were bleeding. "She is my wife. Where are you taking her?" The machine was already flying away, and Yoonji was disappearing into the belly of the silver ship. Minho fell to his knees and watched until the light was gone. Inside the ship, Hyun-woo and So-young found themselves in a huge room filled with thousands of other humans. They were all floating in the air, held by the same blue energy that had taken them from Earth. Some people were crying. Others were too scared to make any sound at all. Veltar appeared on a big screen at the front of the room. When he spoke, his words came out in perfect Korean, perfect English, perfect in every language the humans knew. "Welcome to your new life," he said. "Your planet is dying. Your people fight wars over water and food. You poison your air and kill your animals. We are saving you from all of this." So-young looked around at all the scared faces. "Papa, what does he mean?" "I do not know," Hyun-woo whispered back. "But I do not think we had a choice." "Work for us," Veltar continued. "You will help us build great things. You will live in beautiful cities among the stars. Your children will never know hunger or war. All we ask is that you obey." Through the clear walls of the ship, they could see Earth getting smaller and smaller. The blue oceans looked like marbles. White clouds looked like cotton. And somewhere down there, Minho Park was still standing in his empty street, looking up at the sky. "The ones we left behind," Veltar said to his officers when the humans could not hear. "They are too wild, too dangerous. Let them fight over the scraps of their dead world. In a few years they will all be gone, and we can take what we need without any trouble." But Commander Veltar was wrong about one thing. The humans left behind were not going to die quietly. They were going to remember, and they were going to get angry. 50 years had passed since the silver ships took the chosen ones away. Dr. Hyun-Woo Kim looked at himself in the mirror of his space laboratory and saw an old man. His hair was white now, and his face had lines. From years of working under alien lights, he wore a blue robe that marked him as one of the elevated the special humans who served the Empire. The space station where he lived was beautiful. It had gardens with strange flowers that glowed in the dark, and windows that showed the stars. The air tasted sweet and clean. He had everything he could want: good food, a soft bed, and work that made him feel important. His daughter So-young was now a woman of 62, but she looked much younger. The aliens had changed their bodies to live longer and stay healthy. She had become a great engineer, building machines that could think and move by themselves. When she spoke, her voice sounded different from the people who had stayed on Earth. It was smoother, more careful, like she had forgotten how to be truly human. "Papa, I have the new reports from Earth," So-young said, walking into his laboratory. She carried a glowing tablet in her hands. "The mining is going very well. We are getting more metal and energy stones than we hoped for." Hyun-Woo looked at the numbers on the screen. "What about the people who are still down there, the primitives?" So-young shrugged. "They run away when our machines come. They live in holes in the ground like rats. The supervisors say they are no trouble at all." Something hurt in Hyun-Woo's chest when she said that word, primitives. These were their people, their own kind. But after 50 years of living among the stars, it was hard to remember that Earth had ever been home. Far below, in the ruins of what used to be the city of Busan, a young man named Jun-Suk Lee sat in a dark tunnel. He was holding a piece of alien technology, a small board covered in tiny lights and metal paths. A single candle gave him just enough light to see. Jun-Seok was 25 years old, but he looked older. Life underground had made him thin and hard, like a piece of metal that had been hammered many times. His great-grandfather had been a fisherman who caught fish from the ocean, but Jun-Seok had never seen the sea. The alien machines had drained it away years ago, taking the water to use in their factories. "I think I understand how this works," he whispered to himself. His fingers traced the tiny metal paths on the board. "If I connect this part to that part..." The board suddenly came alive with light. Jun-Seok smiled. It had taken him 3 months to figure out how to make it work, but now he could use it to talk to other hidden groups of humans all over the world. "Jun-Seok," a voice called from the tunnel entrance. A young woman came running toward him. Her name was Hyjin, and she was one of the scouts who watched the alien machines above ground. She was small and fast, with short black hair and eyes that missed nothing. "The flying machines came by again," she said, breathing hard. "Same time, same path, just like always." They flew over the old market area, then the harbor, then back to their base. 72 hours exactly, just like you said." Jun-Seok nodded. "They never change. They think we are too stupid to notice patterns." "Why don't they change?" Hyjin asked. "If I was them, I would fly different ways each time, because they do not think we are smart enough to be dangerous," said another voice. An old man came walking down the tunnel. His name was Tom Yen-Kang, and he was one of the leaders of the underground people. He was over 70 years old, but his eyes were still sharp and angry. "The aliens think we are like animals," Taemin continued. "They see us hiding in holes and think we are just trying to stay alive. They do not know that we are learning, growing stronger, getting ready." "Getting ready for what?" Hyjin asked. Tae-Min smiled, but it was not a happy smile. "For the day when we show them what these animals can really do." Above them, the alien mining platforms worked day and night. They were huge machines that ate rock and dirt and turned it into useful things. The aliens who ran them lived in comfortable rooms with soft chairs and good food. They never came down to the surface. They did not need to. Their machines did all the work. The humans are no problem, one alien supervisor told another. They run away whenever we expand operations. Sometimes we see them on the cameras, but they are just scavengers looking for food scraps. What about the reports of organized activity? The other supervisor asked. Just rumors? These primitives cannot organize anything bigger than a family group. They are too busy trying to survive, far below, in tunnels that spread under the ground, like the roots of a great tree. Thousands of humans were doing much more than just surviving. They were learning to use alien technology. Were sharing information across the whole planet. They were making weapons from scraps of metal and broken machines, and they were remembering everything the aliens had taken from them. Most importantly, they were planning for the day when they would take it all back. The clock on Jun Seok's wrist showed exactly 3:47 in the morning when he pressed the button. All around the world, thousands of other humans pressed their buttons at the same moment. They had been waiting for this time for 10 years, practicing in secret, building their weapons from broken pieces of alien machines. The device in Jun Seok's hands was small and ugly, made from old computer parts and alien metal, but when he pressed the button, it sent out a wave of energy that could not be seen or heard. This wave traveled up through the ground and into the sky, reaching the huge mining platform that floated above the ruins of Bove Sand. For a moment, nothing happened. Then all the lights on the platform started to flicker. The machine that kept it floating in the air began to make strange noises. Sparks flew from its metal sides like angry fireflies. "It's working," Jun Seok whispered. "It's actually working." Platform tilted to one side, then the other. The aliens inside were probably running around in panic trying to figure out what was wrong, but there was nothing they could do. The electromagnetic pulse had fried all their electronic systems. The platform fell from the sky like a dying bird. It crashed into the dry bay, where the ocean used to be, making a sound like the world breaking apart. The ground shook so hard that Jun Seok had to grab the tunnel wall to keep from falling down. Phase 1 complete. Haijin's voice crackled. Through the communication device, she was 50 kilometers away, but her voice sounded clear and happy. All primary targets neutralized. Jun-Seok grinned. Around the world, the same thing was happening. Mining platforms were falling from the sky, patrol ships were crashing into mountains. Communication towers were going dark. After 50 years of hiding like rats, the humans were finally fighting back. In the Amazon rainforest, far from Korea, a man named Woojin Santos was leading his team through the smoking wreckage of a Zephyrian patrol ship. Woojin's great-grandfather had come from Korea many years ago before the aliens arrived. Now Woojin looked Korean, but he spoke Portuguese and Spanish as well as Korean. He had grown up in the jungle, learning to move silently through the trees. "Check for survivors," he told his team, "and watch out for automated defenses." His team moved through the wreckage like shadows. They had trained for this moment their entire lives. Every step was careful and planned. They knew exactly where to look for useful technology and how to avoid the dangerous parts of the crashed ship. One of his team members, a young woman named Anna, called out softly, "Woojin, over here, I found something." She was kneeling next to a piece of alien machinery that was still glowing with internal light. It looked like a computer, but it was shaped like a flower made of metal and crystal. "Can you make it work?" Woojin asked. Anna smiled. While she worked, Woojin looked up at the sky. More alien ships were coming. They would be here soon, probably very angry and ready to fight. But that was okay. The humans had planned for this too. "Got it," Anna said. The alien computer was now showing pictures and symbols that she could read. This ship was carrying a message to the orbital stations. It says ... Oh, this is interesting. It says the humans are more organized than they thought. "It's too late for them to figure that out now," Woojin said. Up in space, aboard orbital station Kepler 7, alarm bells were ringing so loudly that people had to shout to hear each other. Dr. Hyun-Woo Kim and his daughter So-young were in the main command center. watching screens that showed red warning lights all over Earth. "What is happening?" Yuan-Wu asked. His voice was shaking. "I don't know," So-Young said. She was pressing buttons on her control panel, trying to get information from the surface. "All our mining platforms have gone silent. The patrol ships are not responding. The communication networks are down." More information started coming in. A supervisor from the African mining operation appeared on one of the screens. His blue-gray alien face was twisted with worry. "The primitives have attacked us," he said. "They used some kind of energy weapon. All our systems are failing." "It's impossible," So-Young said. "The primitives don't have that kind of technology." "Look." At the tactical display, the supervisor said, "This is not random violence. This is coordinated warfare." So-Young turned to look at the big screen that showed a map of Earth. Red dots were appearing all over the planet, marking places where alien facilities had been attacked. The dots were not scattered randomly. They formed patterns, like they were part of a single, huge plan. "Father," So-Young said quietly, "the PRIMITIVES dot. They're organized. They've been planning this." Hien-Wu stared at the screen. Somewhere down there in the tunnels and hidden places, the people they had left behind were fighting back. People the aliens had called too stupid and too violent to be useful? "How many of them are there?" he asked. "We don't know," So-Young said. "We thought there were maybe a few million scattered survivors. But if they can coordinate an attack like this, there must be hundreds of millions of them," Hien-Wu finished. "And they've been preparing for this day for 50 years. The first time since he had been taken from Earth, Hien-Wu felt something he had almost forgotten. He felt proud of his people. The biggest warship in the Zephyrian fleet came out of hyperspace like a metal mountain moving through the stars. Its name was Celestial Dominion, and it was longer than a city and wider than a lake. Admiral Kethfer stood on its bridge, his 6 arms crossed behind his back, watching Earth grow. Larger on the main screen? "Sir, we will reach Earth in 2 hours, his second-in-command reported. "The rebellion should be crushed within a day." "Good," Admiral Kethfer said. His voice was cold and sure. "These primitives have caused enough trouble. We will show them what happens when they bite the hand that feeds them." But down on Earth, in a bunker, buried deep under the mountains of Korea, old Taemin Kong was also watching the enemy fleet approach. He was 93 years old now, so old that his hand shook when he held his coffee cup. But his mind was still sharp as a knife, and his eyes still burned with anger. "Look at them," he said to his lieutenants. "They come in their big ships, thinking they will scare us into giving up. They still don't understand what kind of war this is." "You mean, sir?" asked one of the younger fighters. Tae-Min smiled. "They think this is their war. They think they get to decide how we fight. But this is our world. We know every mountain, every valley, every place where the wind blows. We have been preparing for this day since before you were born." He pressed a button on his control panel. All across Earth, hidden weapon systems came online, missiles that had been disguised as rocks, laser cannons built into the sides of mountains, electromagnetic pulse generators hidden in old subway tunnels. "Let them come," Taemin said. "Let them see what Earth can do." The first alien landing ships entered Earth's atmosphere like burning meteors. They were confident and proud, their shields glowing blue around their metal hulls. But as they came lower, the sky around them suddenly filled with death. It was not just missiles that hit them, though there were plenty of those. The humans had been collecting space junk for 50 years, old satellites, broken pieces of ships, chunks of rock that had been knocked out of orbit. They had turned all of this garbage into weapons, shooting it at the alien ships with magnetic launchers hidden all over the planet. One landing ship took a direct hit from what used to be a communications satellite. The impact tore through its hull like paper, and the ship spun out of control, crashing into the Pacific Ocean with a splash that could be seen from space. Another ship was hit by a piece of asteroid that the humans had been saving for 20 years. The rock was no bigger than a car, but it was moving so fast that it punched completely through the alien ship, leaving a hole you could drive a truck through. Impossible, shouted the alien pilot of a third ship. How do they have this kind of firepower? But before anyone could answer, his ship was hit by 3 missiles at once, and he didn't have time to ask any more questions. In Japan, deep inside Mount Fuji, Jun-Suk Lee was putting on his armor. It was made from pieces of alien metal that his team had hammered and welded together over the years. It was ugly and rough, but it would stop alien weapons. Are you ready? He asked his team. There were 50 men and women with him, all wearing the same kind of homemade armor, all carrying weapons built from alien technology. Ready, sir? They answered. Jun-Seok looked around at the inside of the mountain. It had taken 30 years to hollow it out and fill it with weapons and machines. They had used alien geological equipment to control the volcano's magma, turning the entire mountain into a bomb that could be triggered whenever they wanted. My great-grandfather was a fisherman, Jun-Seok said quietly. Ace, tell me stories about the ocean, about the fish that swam in schools so big they looked like underwater cities. The aliens took that ocean away. They took his fish, took his world. He walked over to a control panel that was covered in red buttons and switches. This is for him. This is for everyone they took from us. Jun-Seok pressed the detonation. Trigger Mount Fuji exploded like the world's biggest firework. Lava shot up into the sky in a column of fire that was visible from orbit. The explosion was so powerful that it created its own weather, with lightning dancing through the ash clouds and thunder that could be heard in China. 3 alien ships that had been flying over Japan were caught in the eruption. They were vaporized, instantly turned into metal vapor that mixed with the volcanic ash on the bridge of the Celestial Dominion. Admiral Kethfer watched the explosion with his mouth hanging open. That's impossible, he whispered. They turned a volcano into a weapon? Dr. Haeon-woo Kim stood beside him, still wearing his blue robe, but feeling like a stranger in his own clothes. He was watching his home planet fight back with a fury that made his heart race. They're not primitives, he said, his voice full of wonder and fear. They're warriors, or the ones who forgot how to fight. The war did not end with a big battle or a peace treaty signed in a fancy room. It ended with people finally understanding what had really been happening all along. General. Hyjin Park stood in what used to be the main Zephyrian command center on Earth. The walls were broken. Sparks still flew from damaged alien computers. But the important thing was that humans controlled it now, around her. People were working together to fix the broken machines and learn how to use the alien technology. Some of these people wore the simple clothes of Earth-born humans. Others wore the torn blue robes of the elevated, the ones who had been taken away 50 years ago. They were working side by side, sharing their knowledge, finally united as one people again. General, we have a message from orbit, called out a young technician. His name was Sung-min, and he had been born in the tunnels under Seoul. Now he was operating alien communications equipment like he had been doing it his whole life. What does it say? Hyjin asked. It's from Woojin Santos in the Amazon. He's captured one of their big orbital shipyards. He says the Empire is falling apart. Hyjin nodded. This was what they had hoped for. The Zephyrian Empire was not just made up of Zephyrians. It included dozens of different alien species, all of them controlled by the same system that had tried to control humans. When those species saw what humans had accomplished, they started to get ideas of their own, the Corvidians have declared. Independent, Sung-min continued reading. So have the Vesians and the Vorthan Collective. They're all saying the same thing. If primitive humans can beat the Empire, why can't they? High above Earth, in the captured orbital shipyard. Woojin Santos was talking to representatives from a dozen different alien species. They had all been slaves of the Empire in different ways, some of them for hundreds of years. Now they were asking humans to teach them how to fight back. We don't want to rule you, Woojin told them. We don't want to make you serve us the way the Zephyrians made us serve them. We want to be allies, partners, friends. A tall, bird-like alien named Crix spoke up. But you defeated the Empire. You have the right to command us. No, Woojin said firmly. Nobody has the right to command anybody else. That's the whole point of what we fought for. Back on Earth, In a damaged communications center in the ruins of Busan, two old men were working together to fix a broken antenna. One was Dr. Hyun-woo Kim, the physicist who had been taken away 50 years ago. The engineer who had grown up in the tunnels, Hyun-woo's hands were dirty for the first time in 50 years. His blue robe was torn and stained with grease and mud. But he had never felt more alive, more useful, more human. "I never thought I would see this day," he said, tightening a bolt with a wrench. "I thought I would die in space, serving aliens, never knowing what happened to my home." Jun-seok smiled. "My daughter always asked about you." She remembered the day you were taken. She was just a little girl then, but she never forgot. "Your daughter?" Hyun-woo stopped working and looked up. "You mean ... double quotes, EUN-G, Minho's wife. She survived the early years, lived to see the rebellion begin. She died last winter, but she saw the alien ships burning in the sky. She died free." Hyun-woo's eyes filled with tears. He remembered Minho pounding on the invisible barrier, trying to save his wife. He remembered the pain in that man's eyes. "Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry I couldn't save her." "You did save her," Jun-seok said quietly. "You came back. The knowledge we needed to win, she would have been proud." All across Earth, similar scenes were playing out. Families were being reunited. People were learning to work together. The planet was scarred. The oceans were different. The mountains had been moved. Whole cities had been destroyed. But it was theirs again. In the underground command center that had been Tom Kong's headquarters, the old man was making his final broadcast to the galaxy. He was 93 years old, and the long war had taken most of his strength, but his voice was still strong when he spoke. To all who hear this message, he said, "We want you to know something. We reached for heaven, but heaven was a lie. We found truth in the dirt, in the fight, in refusing to kneel. We offer not elevation, but alliance. We offer not comfort, but the chance to stand as equals." His message went out to every corner of the galaxy, translated into hundreds of languages, heard by billions of beings who had spent their lives serving the Empire in the rebuilt Seoul spaceport. Dr. Hyun-woo Kim stood with his daughter So-young, watching ships from dozens of different worlds land on Earth's soil. The visitors were not conquerors or masters. They were guests, allies, friends. "Was it worth it?" So-young asked. "All the pain, all the loss, all the years of suffering?" Her father looked out at the landing field where alien children and human children were playing together in the gardens that had been built where the old military base used to be. The air was clean, the sky was blue, and people were free. "Look around you," he said. "We didn't just survive. We taught the galaxy how to be free."